Hi everybody, welcome to the Lexus Virtual Classroom. My name is Melissa O'Connell. I'm your Lexus Technology Specialist, and today I am with the all-new 2022 Lexus NX. Since there are so many buttons, bells, and whistles on this new Lexus NX, our deep dive tutorial will come in two parts. Part one will cover some basic details. I'll show you how to set up your Lexus driver profile, and we will cover all of the buttons and the features that they operate. Part two will cover all things Lexus interface, the new cloud-based Lexus navigation system, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, the audio system, and more. Make sure to check out part two next. If you're new to the Lexus Virtual Classroom, make sure to know that we have an index in the description of the video below, and that will allow you to jump through subjects so that you can more quickly move through the features on the vehicle that you'd like to explore. There are 4 different powertrains on the 22 NX. The NX 250 comes standard front-wheel drive with available all-wheel drive. It has a 2.5-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine. The all-gas NX 350 has a new 2.4-liter turbo engine and comes in all-wheel drive only. The all-gas versions of the NX 250 and NX 350 will come with the engine start-stop functionality. You'll see the button on the right-hand side of the collection of controls near the emergency parking brake. The feature can be turned off, but it does reset with every key cycle. The NX 350 Hybrid has a combined total system horsepower of 240 and an estimated fuel economy of 39 miles per gallon. All-wheel drive only with a rear-mounted motor generator to power the rear wheels. And first in the Lexus lineup of plug-in hybrid electric vehicles will be the NX 450h Plus, which comes in all-wheel drive. It has 304 total system horsepower and an estimated MPGe, which is miles per gallon equivalent, of 84 miles. Recharging times will vary depending on the type of charging station that you're using and the amount of current charge on the battery. Since I'm in a state that won't be receiving the plug-in electric hybrid right away, stay tuned for a deep dive video tutorial all about the Lexus 450h Plus once we start receiving them at our dealerships. The all-gas NX 250 with the 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine is the only NX in the lineup that uses regular fuel. All other NXs use premium fuel with a 91 or higher octane rating. If you're exploring the owner's manual, you'll see the octane rating that's required. So, for example, 91 octane is required for the 350, 350 Hybrid, and 450h Plus. But notice that the research octane number is actually 96. Also, on the NX 250, which can use regular fuel or an 87 octane rating, the research octane rating is at 91. So if you weren't getting the performance that you expect for fuel economy or even the drive feel, go ahead and change to the research octane rating. Drive for 3 full tanks. Let the system reset to the new octane rating. Then you may find that you enjoy the drive feel and the fuel economy even more. If your NX has the optional parking assist feature, you will see one of 2 different possible layouts. The first version has 8 sensors, 4 sensors across the front and 4 across the rear bumper. If your NX comes with Advanced Park, you'll see 4 additional ultrasonic sensors, 1 on each corner of the vehicle, front and rear. Advanced Park is available on the 350 Hybrid and the 450h Plus Hybrid. It uses the electric motor generators to maneuver the vehicle into the selected and available parking place. Advanced Park must be built onto the vehicle at the manufacturer. It's not something that can be added with a retrofit. Like the majority of the safety features on the vehicle, the intuitive parking assist is turned on the main screen inside the vehicle. We'll go into that in more detail in part 2 of our tutorial. The NX now uses a fuel door button located to the left of the steering wheel to pop open the fuel door latch. And there's a handy spot right at the hinge point that allows you to place the cap out of the way. There are 2 emergency tow hooks at the front. The NX will feature run-flat tires. You will not have a spare in the trunk. It also has hub bolts rather than lug nuts to secure the wheel. If your NX comes with wheel locks, the wheel lock has a distinct wave pattern. The wheel lock key fits that pattern. Make sure to restore the wheel lock key to its nesting spot. It's going to be snug and in place and stay nice and quiet while you drive. Built into the housing around the rear door, you have lighting, backup camera, and then the rubber touchpad to unlock or lock the NX, as long as you have your smart key on your person. With the optional kick sensor, as long as you have your smart key, all you have to do is kick between the 2 rear center parking sensors. Just kick and back. You'll hear a beep, and then it's going to power open. The new kick sensor is quicker in response, and it does give you that beep to let you know that it's already functioning. You can also kick to close. You'll hear a double beep, and again, that great quick response time. If your NX does not have the optional kick sensor, you can open with the button on the key fob, or just push the large rubber touchpad at the back of the door handle. With the buttons just inside the housing on the right-hand side of the rear door, you can power close or power close and lock. We've been able to close and lock the power back doors on the Lexus vehicles for quite some time, but they've added some other cool features, and of course this is all part of your smart access system. As long as you have your key on your person, if you push the button to close and lock and you don't get out of the way, it's going to beep at you, because guess what? It wants you to move out of the way so it can close and lock. Now if you forgot something, don't worry. Just approach the vehicle. If the door hasn't closed quite so far, it's going to stop right where it is so that you can then use the button below the lip of the rear door or right above the license plate. Then you can power open the door the rest of the way, grab what you forgot inside, push the button, and head on your way. It's going to close and lock. To adjust the opening height of the rear door, push and release the close button. Push again to stop it at the height that you prefer, and push and hold until you hear the 4 beeps. To clear this height and start over, push and hold. Continue to hold. When you hear the additional 2 beeps, it's been reset. You can also lock from the small rubber touchpad just on the right-hand side of the larger unlock button. Taking a look inside the cargo area. On the right-hand side, you'll see buttons for the optional power folding second row seats, light cargo hooks with a max capacity of 4 kilograms, located also on the left-hand side, and a 12-volt accessory charger. D-ring anchor points, 2 at the front and 2 near the back. If you have a cargo net that stores in the zip pouch, make sure to remove it by unhooking from the D-rings on both sides. It has a plastic hook on each side, and you wouldn't want to damage this piece. Also, when you're ready to put it back, make sure that the zipper is on the left-hand side. That's going to put the open access to the hook in the right spot to connect easily to the D-ring anchor points. To put the cargo net in place, make sure the hooks are secured to the D-rings at the bottom and the cable loops at the top. A netted cargo cubby on the left-hand side. To fold and store the soft privacy shade, just unhook the tabs at the top, and then you'll be able to remove one side, fold the shade in half, and remove the other. Then just flip it toward you and to the right so that the tabs that support the back can easily nest in place. When you want to restore the privacy shade, make sure that the posts are at the back and the cable supports are on the outside of the fold. Also remember that it opens down. Just put one post in and the other. Then you can restore the cables. There are two different handles to access the versatile rear cargo area. The handle that's farther toward the center just lifts up so that you can accordion the decking piece to locate a deeper cargo well and to create an additional storage area at the back. To access the full cargo area, lift up, fold over, and over again. And then you don't have to remove the cargo cover, but if you would like to, you can. Then you're able to access the full cargo area, including the tool section with the emergency towing eyelet and screwdriver, the wheel lock key if your NX comes with wheel locks. There are two hooks at the rear of the hard cargo decking that help to secure it in place and keep it from rattling around while you drive. So if you do remove the cargo decking, make sure that you notch those into place before you lay the rest of it down. The hard shell first aid kit is typically located in the storage area under the cargo decking, as well as the mounting bracket for the front license plate. The alarm status light is located in the center of the dash near the windshield. When it's flashing, it means the vehicle is unlocked. When the vehicle is locked, the light will be solid. Let's talk about smart access, locking and unlocking to enter and exit or access the cargo area on the NX. All doors on the NX feature the smart access system. They're all going to be operated with the smart access key just by having the key in your pocket or on your person. You can also use the key fob if you would like to lock, unlock, push and hold to power open the rear door, or activate the alarm feature. Now, if you're still activating the alarm to locate your vehicle in a parking lot, you are definitely not going to worry about that anymore because you can use the Lexus app. All new NXs come with a complimentary trial period of Remote Connect that includes the ability to locate your NX in its last parking place. The new NX features a digital latch system to unlock the vehicle. Just put your hand in the door handle. You'll hear beeps. You will notice that the full door handle itself does not pull open. Just squeeze on the touchpad. You'll be able to open the door. To lock the NX, just touch the indentation at the front of any of the 4 door handles. There's a manual override for the unlocking feature. It might not look like it, but there is still a manual key cylinder under this cover on the back end of the driver's door handle. To remove the cover and access the emergency key cylinder, you're going to need to release 2 attachment points. Start with a credit card of some type. Make sure that the credit card will fit into the opening, insert and tilt to the left. You'll hear the first snap. You'll be tempted to pull away. Don't do that. Then push to the left to slide the cover toward you and then you can release it. So you'll see that there are attachment points that move in the opposite directions. Then you're able to access the emergency key cylinder. Look for the word push on the side of your key fob, remove the mechanical key, insert the key, and twist to the right. Also, when there's no power to the vehicle, you'll need to use the emergency door handle as opposed to the electronic digital latch. If you're using the manual key cylinder to lock the vehicle with the engine running, keep in mind you are going to get some alarms and alerts because it really doesn't want you to do that anymore. You're also going to get some audible alerts when you close the door and take your key fob with you. So now the engine is running. I've removed my key fob. I've removed the cover of the key cylinder and locked the door. The mirrors will not auto fold even if you have the feature turned on, and you have deactivated the smart access system. So trying to unlock with the smart access sensor in the door handle, or even pushing the unlock button on the key fob, is not going to work because you've overridden the system. You'll need to use the mechanical key to re-enter the vehicle. Turning to the right, you'll hear the latch release and you'll be back inside your NX. Another thing that can happen when you're using the mechanical key, you can also override the smart access start on the vehicle. Twisting to the right to open, entering the vehicle, you may see a message that says press brake pedal and touch engine switch with key. If you see that message, it means you need to apply the brake and hold the key fob in front of the push button start. Then you'll reawaken the smart access system. Apply the brake, press the engine start button, and you're ready to go. When you're ready to put things back, you'll just go in reverse order. Put the back section in first, and then snap it into place at the front. If you have the power folding mirrors set to auto fold when you lock your NX with the smart access system, they'll blink and beep and fold in for you. That's a great indication as you're walking away that your vehicle is locked. When you unlock, they'll open. To exit the vehicle with the new digital latch, just push and push the door to open. Since digital latch is new for Lexus, you might see a sticker on the inner door handle that says push open, just as a reminder that you are going to push to open and exit your vehicle. When you're ready, you can remove that. The manual override would be 2 pulls toward you. Another incredible feature that's possible because of the digital latch is called Safe Exit Assist. Using the digital latch and the sensors for blind spot monitor, the vehicle is able to look for and detect cars and bicyclists.
It was a very subtle beep, just a beep beep, and if you saw the indicator, it illuminated.
To help prevent the door from opening into oncoming traffic. Once you've turned the vehicle off, the system is active for 3 minutes. To fold the back seats down from the second row, use the latch on the outside shoulder of each seat. To operate the optional power folding seats from the back of the vehicle, use the buttons located on the right-hand side of the rear cargo area. Once you fold the seats down, make sure to give it just a few seconds before you fold them back up. There's even a really cool way to fold up the back seats once they're already down with a button that's hidden when they're up and in place. You'll locate it just on the side of the seat when it's folded down. Just push the button. Make sure to push until you hear the beep. Listen for the 3 beeps at the end of the motion to know that the seats are locked in place and the action is complete. They can also be controlled from the front on the main screen. And if you're subscribed to Drive Connect with the Intelligent Assistant, you can even do it by voice command. Make sure to check out part 2 of our deep dive tutorial for more instructions. Looking up for the rear cabin dome lights, simply push the button to turn them on or off. And when door mode is turned on for the front dome lights, the rear cabin dome lights will also turn on when a door is opened. Fold down the center armrest to locate the rear cup holders. The seat belt for the rear center seat has been relocated from the ceiling mount position from the previous model years to the center seat back itself. Make sure to use the attachment point marked center. If you try to buckle up into another attachment point, it won't actually click into place. So just use the attachment point for the center seat and you're all set. Taking a look at the rear controls, you have a manual dial to open and close the rear air conditioning vents, buttons to operate the optional rear seat heaters, coming down to locate the charging area for the rear cabin passengers, a 120 outlet, and 2 USB-C ports. To engage the child locks for the back seats, simply toggle the lever down. Both outboard seats have lower anchors for the Latch child safety system for car seats. All 3 back seats have top tethers for child safety seats. The new NX has a convenience and safety feature that's called a rear seat reminder. Here's how it works. The system is triggered by the opening and closing of a rear door. If you open and close a rear door, whether it's to put something as simple as a tennis racket in the back seat or precious cargo like passengers, when you put the vehicle in park and turn it off, you'll have the message, "Attention, check rear seat," because the vehicle knows that you opened the rear door before your drive. Now let's move to the front cabin. Before we start exploring the features in the front cabin, we're going to set up our Lexus app and connect to the Lexus interface system in the vehicle. Make sure that your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are turned on, and then you can start customizing your drive experience in your new NX. When you first hop in a vehicle with Lexus interface, you typically will see a welcome screen. In order to set up and link a profile, you want to make sure that you have an active Lexus app account. Go ahead and download or open the Lexus app on your compatible smartphone and sign in if you have an existing account or register if you're new to Lexus. If you're registering a new account, I recommend that you use the full registration method rather than signing in through Apple, Google, or Facebook. It's just a cleaner registration. Check your email for an app verification code. Enter the code to activate and authorize. Then click Verify Account. If your account requires you to update your password, you'll be prompted, so go ahead and follow the steps. If not, then you won't even see this step at all. So just keep following the prompts. You'll also receive a congratulations email, and that's just for your records, just to confirm that the setup is complete. You won't actually need it for any of the setup process. Once you're on the Add Vehicle screen, click Add Vehicle, then stop. Our next steps will be on the main screen in the vehicle. Now that we're in the vehicle and we're on this screen on the Lexus app, select your language on the main screen, English, Spanish, or French. You'll enter your cell phone number and press Send. This will send a text message to your phone inviting you to download the Lexus app. If you've already downloaded the Lexus app, you can just ignore that message. The top two items, scan VIN and enter VIN manually, are for previous Lexus Inform model vehicles. For Lexus Interface, the QR code will appear on screen. Press Scan QR code on your phone and then press Continue to allow camera access, and then any other permission that pops up on screen. And now we've scanned the QR code and we are waiting for the system to link. On the vehicle, you'll see I've completed app setup. That means we have more to do on the Lexus app. So go ahead, review the information about the vehicle. You can select your preferred servicing dealer. If it doesn't populate automatically, just click to view a list of the dealerships in your area. Make your selection. Click Save Changes when you're ready. You'll now receive a prompt to create an account PIN. This needs to be a 6-digit number that you can easily remember in case you need to refresh the connection to your profile in the future. Once your PIN has been established, you can always reset the PIN in your account settings. If you already have a PIN attached to your Lexus app, you won't be prompted to create a PIN. So if you don't remember it, make sure to go back to your account settings and reset that PIN so that you have access in the future. And now we are going to set up our trial. We'll click Continue, and then we're going to accept for all of the services that we would like to set up. We want to accept for our data consent, Service Connect. If you don't want to use Wi-Fi or you're not sure that you'd like to set up Wi-Fi, choose Maybe Later, Confirm, and then scroll to the last item. This is about video capture, so we'll click Accept, Confirm, and Continue. You'll notice that the car is already ready to set up Bluetooth. We'll do that in just a moment. Let's click Finish Setup. And now we're going to have all of the content from our Lexus app start to populate right in our phone. So let's go ahead and complete the Bluetooth setup. We're going to say yes on the car. We would like to set up Bluetooth. And that means on our phone, we need to go to Settings. Open Bluetooth. Look for the vehicle's device, Lexus NX. Now we are going to click Pair. OK, allow on the phone, basically anything that pops up on the car screen or the phone, including now, do we want to use Apple CarPlay? We want to say yes to all of these awesome things. We also want to consider, do we want this to be the primary device? Since this is a vehicle that I'm going to be demonstrating, I'm going to say yes, I do want it to be primary. And yes, I want to enable Apple CarPlay. If you don't want it to be primary, if it's an additional device, you can just decline that and still say yes for Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, depending on your phone. Once we've said yes or affirmative to everything, you're going to see Apple CarPlay or Android Auto populate right on screen. When you're ready to exit Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, just open your apps and then look for the Lexus icon. Touch to open Lexus interface. You'll see that the Lexus menu bar is now on the left-hand side. The top item is a shortcut back to Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. On previous Lexus models, we used to link the key for driver position memory through the buttons in the door handle. But now linking a key does so much more than just remembering driver position memory. like remembering radio favorites, customized lighting themes, head-up display position, climate control, and more. So even if you don't have driver position memory, make sure to link your selected key to your driver profile to help the system more quickly recognize your compatible customized settings. A total of 3 driver profiles can be set up with your new NX. You can also link a key to each one of those profiles. To link your key, you'll need to have the key that you want to use. Make sure to be signed in to the selected profile that you want to use. Select Personal Info, and then Link Key. When you're linking a key, just click the toggle once. You'll hear a beep, and then it'll take it a few seconds before it turns blue, letting you know that the linked key is attached to the profile. If you click multiple times, it's going to start the link process, then cancel it. So just hang tight, click it one time, and then you'll see it turn blue. Depending on the packaging and equipment on your vehicle, you'll either have 2 electronic key fobs or 2 electronic key fobs and an electronic card key. Now we've successfully set up a primary profile. Let's add an additional driver profile. Now keep in mind, the primary driver profile has access to permissions, subscriptions, and the remote connect features for remote start and things like that. When you want to add an additional driver profile, make sure that you've come to Settings, and then you're going to click the plus next to the person icon for manual setup. You will need to have the Lexus app login information for the driver that you want to add, and you'll do it right on screen. When it's time to enter the password that they created for their Lexus app, make sure that you know you can toggle between upper and lowercase with the arrow. If you click once, it should toggle from upper or lower, or double click and you'll see a dash below the arrow symbol. That means it's going to hold uppercase for you. If you have multiple uppercase letters in a row in your password. Click Go, and then follow the additional prompts on screen. Because this is an additional driver profile, we do not want to save as primary. We do want to save the profile, however. Click Continue. An important tip, if you save a new profile and select it as primary, it will kick out the original primary profile. So be careful before making that selection. And now we will be able to pair a device. We'll click Continue on screen, and then instead of being in the Lexus app, we need to go to Settings, and then locate your Bluetooth menu. When the vehicle device pops up, click right on the name. Then follow your prompts to pair. And we do want to allow for permission for contacts, messages, call history. When the system asks if this is a primary device, that's just asking if this is the main phone that you'll be using. Is it your primary phone? Start Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, and if you need to update on your phone, just follow the prompts to click Update. If the update takes too long, it will time out on the car, but then you can go ahead, complete the update on your device, and then refresh the connection for Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Then you'll follow the prompts on the screen. We want to continue setup for Android Auto, and voila! To leave the Android Auto environment and go back to Lexus interface, click on the Home button, and then click on the Lexus app icon. Notice that with a secondary driver profile, you will not go through the add vehicle process in the Lexus app because you're not adding remote connect services. But the maps that have been set up and linked through the primary driver profile will still be available to you as an additional driver. Don't forget to select and link the key for any additional driver profiles that you save in the vehicle to help quickly recall the profile settings for that driver. When you'd like to remote start your vehicle through the Lexus app, open the app, make sure you're signed in, and then just touch and hold for a few seconds on the start button. You'll see it reaching out to the vehicle, connecting, contacting vehicle, sending request, and if you happen to be in the line of sight, you'll see the lights flash and you'll hear the engine start. You'll even get a notification on your app letting you know that the vehicle was started. It's going to run for 10 minutes. You can do 2 consecutive remote starts. You'll have a countdown clock right in the app so you can track the timing. But my favorite part about the new remote start functionality, when you enter the vehicle, it stays on. Just apply the brake and push start when you're ready to drive. We'll explore the Lexus app in detail, including the digital key feature, in part 2 of our tutorial. I get frequently asked about the capability of remote starting the vehicle from the key fob. You can technically do this as long as the DCM connection to the vehicle is active. That means you need to make sure that your Lexus account is active and the VIN is attached to your Lexus account. Then you can use the remote start key fob. All you have to do is use the lock button. You're going to do 3 presses, press, press, press and hold. You're going to keep holding for a few seconds. You'll see the lights flash, then you can let go and the vehicle will start. Now you have to be in proximity of the vehicle. Typically the distance for a key fob remote start is usually up to about 80 feet, but it is going to depend on your circumstances and any barriers that might be in between, but give it a shot. Now, when you remote start the Lexus NX, whether you've used the key fob or remote connect in the Lexus app, when you go to unlock or enter the vehicle, it will not turn off. If you don't take the step of applying the brake and pushing the engine start stop button, you will not be able to put the vehicle into gear. If you try to shift into gear without applying the brake and pushing the start engine button, watch what happens. Nothing. It beeps at you. It tells you press brake pedal and push engine switch to start. Try to reverse, go into drive. We are still in park because we need to follow our instructions. So yes, we get to have the vehicle stay on, but we need to apply the brake and push the engine start stop button to finish completely turning on the vehicle, allowing the system to connect to our profile and adjust our driver's seat position if we have that customization capability. When you first get your NX, it's always great to adjust your seat for your optimal driving position. All of your controls are here. You can move forward, back, raise the hip point, lower the hip point, raise the front of the cushion, lower the front of the cushion, and then tilt the seat back, forward or back. You also have lumbar support. Keep in mind that the lumbar position is not part of the driver position memory saved feature. The headrests are adjusted manually. For the height of the headrests on all NXs, just locate the latch on the outside position and then raise or lower until you have it where you'd like it. On F Sport models, the headrest can be adjusted forward or back. There are technically 3 positions for the headrests on the F-Sport NX. This adjustment is for F-Sport only and is not part of the driver position memory. Position 1 at the farthest back position. Then just gently pull forward 1 click, 2 clicks, the 3rd click, and that's as far forward as you'll be able to position these headrests. When you bring them forward 1 more time, it's a reset, and it will allow the headrest to shift all the way back. Once you've adjusted your seat position, make the adjustment to your steering wheel. It will move forward, back, up, and down. Then you'll make the adjustments for your outside mirrors. Choose either left or right, and then use the touchpad to adjust the position. To fold the mirrors in, press the top right button. When it's time to fold them back out, instead of pressing the power folding mirror button again, press auto. Then your mirrors will open and you'll turn on that automatic folding feature that allows the mirrors to fold in automatically when you lock your vehicle. The power folding side mirrors will also tilt in reverse. Shift into reverse as long as either the left or right buttons are selected. You can even customize the tilt in reverse position by selecting left and then making an adjustment to where you would like the mirror to be when you shift into reverse. Maybe you need to navigate a narrow driveway, make your change to the mirror position, and then place the vehicle back into park. The new tilt and reverse position will be memorized, and you'll see the mirror move back to your driving position placement. Shift into reverse again to confirm your customization, and then repeat on the right-hand side. The new driver position memory settings are incredibly advanced and versatile. You have 3 driver position memory buttons. You also have 3 potential driver profiles on the vehicle. Now the driver position memory buttons have a multi-profile feature. That means you can save button 1, 2, or 3 for each of the 3 possible profiles. Pretty cool. Maybe if you have a different seat position preference for a long freeway drive compared to a short commute or a winding road and a sportier drive. Or if your spouse tends to do the driving when you're together, but they don't actually want to have a profile on the car, set up your driving position for button number 1 and their driving position for button number 2, but still attached to your profile. Each profile also has an automatic save function that will recall the seat position from the most recent drive. Am I blowing your mind yet? Because it blew my mind when I learned that the vehicle can do this. Let's take a look at how that works in the vehicle. Here are the tips for best practices to have your driver profile correctly recall not only your seat position, but all of your compatible customized settings. Number 1, set up your profile first. Make sure your selected driver profile is active. Number 2, link your key to your driver profile. Now, adjust your seat, steering wheel, side mirrors, and even the head-up display position if you have the head-up display in your Lexus. Then save with the buttons in the door handle. Push set, let it go, and choose your number. Then go for a quick drive. Shift into gear, drive the vehicle at least 3 miles per hour. Then when you come to a stop and put the vehicle in park, the current driver position settings will be automatically saved to your profile. By saving to the hard buttons, that means that when your profile is actively connected, you can just push the button for the position that you would like to recall, and it will be restored. If your profile is not the active profile at that time, it will recall either a saved position for that particular connected profile, or you won't hear a beep at all. So if we press 1, You're not going to hear a tone at all if they have not used the hard buttons to save their seat memory position for their profile. Let's get back to the rest of the buttons and features on the vehicle. Looking at the buttons below the mirror controls, you can lock out passenger operation for the windows or unlock so that passengers can operate their own windows. An important note about the lock and unlock buttons. You no longer hear a sound when you're operating lock or unlock from inside the vehicle. You'll see a light come on when you press the lock button and the vehicle is locked, and the light will turn off when you press unlock. Now this definitely takes some getting used to. Normally we are used to hearing the lock mechanism engage. Just look down by the lock button for the green light and you'll know that the vehicle is locked. On the dash, located between the instrument panel and the driver's side air conditioning vent, you can adjust the brightness of your display, pushing the up arrow to make it more bright and the down arrow to make it more dim. Your odometer and trip meter button, just push to toggle through trip A, trip B. When you see the wrench, it means that's how many miles you have left until your next oil change. Keep in mind you are going to service every 5,000 miles, and your oil change will typically be every 10,000 miles unless it's needed. So the rule of thumb is 5,000 miles or 6 months, whichever comes first, for each maintenance. Push again and you're back to your odometer. If you'd like to clear trip A or trip B, just push and hold and it will zero out for you. Coming a little to the left and down. On the left-hand side of the steering wheel, we have the button to open the fuel door and to power open the rear door. Moving down below the fuel door button, you have a felted storage cubby, and all the way down for the manual release for the hood. Let's move up for headlamp controls. To operate the headlamps, just turn the dial. Daytime running lights, all lighting off. Auto for the low beam headlights. Parking and daytime running lights. And the manual selection for low beam headlights. Most people prefer to keep the system in auto. You have a separate dial for your fog lights. Toggle down to have them off or up to have them sync to the low beam headlight operation. Automatic high beams are engaged by pushing the button at the end of the stalk. When you push the button to turn on the automatic high beams, you'll see a green light turn on above the automatic high beam icon. You'll also see the auto high beam indicator light on the dash in green on the right-hand side. You'll see indicators on the right-hand side in green. On, you'll have the light bulb indicator, turning on your fog lamps, and you'll see the fog lamp icon, turning on automatic high beams, and you'll see the automatic high beam icon. There are two types of windshield wipers on the NX. Automatic rain sensing wipers or intermittent wipers. If you have intermittent wipers, you'll see INT below the word off. Pushing up for one swipe for mist, and the stalk will come back to the off position. One click down for auto, and then you can adjust the sensitivity of the automatic wipers on the dial. The more sensitive at the top, that means it will take less water for them to activate. If you're not sure if you have the windshield wipers in auto, just come all the way to the top, let it drop, and come down one click from off. You can also take over manual control, clicking down again for low and all the way down to the bottom for high. The rear wiper is controlled by turning the dial at the end of the stalk with the indicator pointing to the setting you prefer. Intermittent, on, or off all the way at the bottom. To clean your front or rear windshield, pull toward you for the front and push away for the back window. There are two steering wheel layouts on the new NX. Let's start with the steering wheel layout for vehicles without a head-up display. This version has hard button controls on the steering wheel, and the multi-information display is on the left side of the instrument panel on your dash. Let's begin with the left side steering wheel buttons. The multi-information display is controlled with the arrow buttons and the OK button to select or make changes. You can move left, right, and on some screens, up or down. Let's go through each of the different menu items that we have available. The information menu will include drive information screens with fuel economy information, screen 1, arrowing down, screen 2, and screen 3. Your distance to empty is your cruising range. How many miles do you have left on this particular tank of gas? Arrowing down again for our eco indicator. This will light up in the eco range when you're driving in a fuel efficient way. It's different from the eco indicator pop-up that you also may see on your instrument panel. Arrowing down again for the G-force monitor, the gear position screen, and then our final screen in the information menu is a blank screen if that's your preference. Arrowing down again and we loop back around to the top. Now let's arrow to the right for a compass, to the right again for an audio screen. Notice it says push OK for source. You can push OK and then toggle through your different audio source options that are available on your vehicle. You would then push go back to clear that screen and come back to the previous screen. Arrowing to the right again for our driving support system screens. There's a lot of information that can appear here, and those items are controlled on the right-hand side of the steering wheel. So we'll come back to this view momentarily. Arrowing to the right for service-related messages or vehicle alerts, such as a low fuel notification. To the right again, and we just loop right back around to the beginning of our multi-information display. Below the multi-information display, you'll see additional driving support icons. And again, those are going to apply to buttons on the right-hand side of the steering wheel. And then our odometer as the final item in that left-hand column of information. Our telephone button to answer, end, or decline a call. Volume for radio and phone, and then the talk button or voice command button if you'd like to push a button for voice commands. When you push and release, it's the equivalent of saying, "Hey Lexus." When you push and hold, it's like saying, "Hey Siri" or "Okay Google." Taking a look at the buttons on the right side of the steering wheel, we have driving support features and audio features. Our mode button will toggle us through our audio sources, FM, AM, satellite, and then the connection to your device or subscription-based streaming services if you subscribe. If you'd like to exit the screen before it clears automatically, just push the Go Back button on the left-hand side of the steering wheel. Once you've saved radio favorites, you can use the lower right arrow buttons to toggle through your selections. And remember, if you'd like to see the selections on your multi-information display, just arrow over to the audio screen or open the audio system on your main screen for a larger view. Now let's come to our driving support screen to get a better understanding of all of our driving support features that we can operate on the right-hand side of the steering wheel. The mode button on the top right will allow you to select adaptive cruise and change easily to traditional cruise, where you're just setting your speed as opposed to your speed and your following distance. We even have a longer range for following distance now, so it's more customizable than ever before. A really cool thing about the following distance setting, it will no longer default to the longest range setting. You'll want to select your mode before you turn the system on, because once it's on, you're not able to change from radar cruise to traditional cruise. Make sure you have your seatbelt on, shift into gear. When you're at the speed that you would like to cruise, just push the cruise control button to turn the system on, and it will automatically set your speed at the speed the vehicle is traveling, as long as you're traveling over 19 miles per hour. Click resume if you've canceled or tapped on the brake, or to increase your set speed, or the minus to decrease your set speed. You can also cancel just by pressing the cancel button, tapping on the brake, or just clicking to turn off cruise. The lane tracing assist button will allow you to turn that feature on or off. Now let's look at the steering wheel layout version if your NX has a head-up display. To operate the head-up display, you'll use the touch-sensitive multitasking buttons on both sides of the steering wheel. The lower button on each side will change the mode for what you can control on screen. Just click to switch modes. If you bring your thumb up to the arrows, you'll see the highlighter move based on where your fingertip is. An important tip to know, if you leave your fingertip on the touch controls, you'll see that the screen stays open for quite a long time. If you remove your fingertip, it's going to close automatically for you and return to your heads-up display view. If you were to turn off your head-up display, you'll still have all of the controls that you saw before. Now they'll appear on your instrument cluster. If it's easier for you to get to know by turning off your head-up display and then get familiar with how the controls work, then turn the head-up display back on, and you should be much more familiar with the system and really enjoy having that information pop up in your line of sight and then fade out as you no longer need it. So for the sake of better visibility, let's turn off the head-up display so that we can review the touch-sensitive buttons and all of the features that they control. And we'll just use the images that show up on the multi-information display so that you can see them better. Taking a look at the items on the left-hand side, we have phone, voice command, in case you'd like to access that from your head-up display with the controls on the steering wheel. The voice command button, if you push and release, it's like saying, "Hey Lexus." If you push and hold, it will activate the mobile assistant for your connected phone, like saying, "Hey Siri" or "OK Google." And then we can toggle through our radio favorites with the right or left-facing arrows. Changing to the audio control screen, you'll also see those radio favorite controls are on both screen views. On the audio screen with the power, turning the audio system on or off, audio mode, changing audio sources, satellite, the Bluetooth connection to a connected paired device. And then if you are streaming music through music subscriptions for Apple Music or Amazon Music. And then cycling you back to FM. The audio mode button will toggle you through any mode source. And if you push and hold on the mode button, it will mute or pause your audio. Push and hold again to resume playing. There are some hard buttons that are on the steering wheel. You can increase or decrease your phone or audio volume with the hard button shortcuts, but you will also see the information highlighted on your display or on the head-up display if you have that system turned on. Taking a look at the hard buttons on the right-hand side, The one at the top can turn on and off your cruise control, which they now call driving assist, and the one below turns on and off lane tracing assist. On the right-hand side, we have driving support information and display information. Let's start out with the display information. If I bring my thumb from the change button up to the arrow pads, when you have the head-up display open, you'll be able to raise and lower the head-up display by pushing the arrows. But because we've turned the head-up display off, you'll just see a dot, meaning there's not an available action in this particular view. But we can change our display, our multi-information display. Using the left or right arrows, we can switch the view of the information that we would like to see right in the middle of our instrument panel. When you stop touching the controls, you'll see the screen that you've selected right below your gear position in the center of your gauge. If you'd like to make another change, just click through until you have it where you want it. Let's take a look at each item. Total average fuel economy, average speed, and elapsed time, the eco indicator, and this will light up as you drive, letting you know you're driving in a fuel efficient way. Just clicking the right facing arrow to reopen the screen and make my selection. The audio summary screen. If your audio system is turned on, you'll see information here. Coming to navigation, this will show whether you're using the Lexus Drive Connect bundle with the cloud-based navigation, or even Apple CarPlay or Android Auto navigation information can appear here, depending upon the compatibility of the navigation app you're using from your phone. Arrowing to the right again, our boost gauge. This will, of course, only be on the vehicles that have a turbo. The G-force monitor, an additional view for gear position. Push and hold the change button to clear that message. Arrowing to the right for driving support. This is going to show cruise control information and lane trace assist information. We'll take a closer look at that momentarily. And then if you prefer the blank screen, it just opens up that lower center section of your center gauge. One of my favorite updates is a small detail, but it is so convenient. On NXs with a head-up display, the range, or the distance to empty, how many miles do you have left on this tank of gas? It's always visible. Just in the lower right-hand corner of your gauge, you'll see distance to empty. Now let's take a look at our driving support information. A best practice for using cruise control is to select your mode before you begin to cruise. Confirm that your cruise mode preference is selected. So if you use adaptive cruise all the time, just leave that mode on. You won't even need to change it. Adaptive cruise is the radar cruise, allowing you to set your speed and a following distance. Clicking the down arrow to change to traditional cruise control, which is speed only. Most people do prefer adaptive cruise control. You'll want to select your mode before you turn the system on, because once it's on, you're not able to change from radar cruise to traditional cruise. So cruise control has become very easy to use. Just make sure you have your seatbelt on, shift into gear. When you're at the speed that you would like to cruise, just push the cruise control button to turn the system on, and it will automatically set your speed at the speed the vehicle is traveling, as long as you're traveling over 19 miles per hour. Then the resume button becomes an increase speed button, so you can increase your speed by pressing the up arrow or decrease your speed by pressing the down arrow. You can cancel by pressing the arrow to the right, highlighting and clicking cancel, tapping on the brake, or just clicking to turn off cruise. And you can adjust your following distance with the left-facing arrow. A really cool thing about the following distance setting, it will no longer default to the longest range setting. The lane tracing assist button will allow you to turn that feature on or off. If you're driving under 19 miles per hour and you turn the system on, it's going to ask you to click resume while it's in waiting mode. When adaptive cruise control and lane trace assist are turned on, you'll also have curb speed reduction engaged. The vehicle will be able to detect the turn and lower your speed for better control in that turn. Paddle shifters for manual mode, upshifting on the right and downshifting on the left. To use the paddle shifters, make sure to select manual mode on the gear shift. Shifting left and down for drive, then simply pull straight down to select manual. If you'd like to return to drive for automatic shifting, just simply shift left and down again to select drive. Moving up, you'll see that we have two different types of rear view mirrors available on the NX. The standard optical rear view mirror or the available digital rear view mirror that has an optical and digital view. There's an optical rear view mirror standard. You'll see home link buttons and the button to turn off or on the auto dimming feature. If you do turn it off, it's going to turn itself back on when you turn off and on your NX. When you have your rear view mirror in digital mode, you'll be able to operate the functions with the buttons that are predominantly on the right-hand side. The buttons you see on the left-hand side are for your home link. To switch from digital view, you'll notice we have the view or camera icon on the top right corner. That's just a reminder, as if this big giant view wasn't enough, you are viewing from the camera mounted at the rear of the vehicle. The camera for the digital rear view mirror is located in the housing and against the glass at the top of the rear window. Use the toggle to change to optical or the traditional view. Notice that when you do change from one mode to another, you'll have different items that pop up on the screen. It is not a touch screen because we don't want to have fingerprints to interfere with our view. Home link and settings or your main menu. All you have to do is push the button, and then you can push repeatedly to change from one function to the next. I recommend that you first set up the optical view because this is a very substantial housing, and adjusting this, if you were to try to adjust this while you're driving, might feel awkward, and we don't want you to do anything that's not safe. So go ahead and get your rear view mirror in the position that you want for the optical or traditional view. So you can see the hinge mechanism behind the rear view mirror. That's just because with that optical view, we don't have the ability to move a camera view around, so we physically need to tilt and adjust the mirror. When you are doing a manual adjustment, I like to use two hands and just hold the housing so you can try to avoid getting fingerprints on the mirror. Then turn on the digital view. Then make your digital view customizations for position. We always move to the right. There's not a go back to the left function. Once you are highlighting the item that you want to adjust, then use these arrow buttons Let's take a look at each function. You can adjust the brightness, you can make it more dim, or brighten up the display. Come back to your selection button and you'll move to the next item. This allows you to adjust what is in view on the screen, either up or down. Come back to your selector, moving again, then use these arrow buttons. You can now move to the right or to the left. You can tilt. You can also zoom in and zoom out. Coming to this next item, this is an auto anti-glare feature. It's that auto dimming mode. Notice that you can turn it off or on in the digital mode. You can also turn it off or on in the optical mode. If your menu fades out and you're in optical mode, just push that menu button. Coming back to our digital mode, just an easy toggle. Back to our settings. HomeLink setup. How cool is this? You can set up your HomeLink with instructions right on your mirror. So wherever you see the word that is your action word, just push the button underneath. So now it's going to tell you to press a HomeLink button, and then you'll follow the steps for programming. If you'd like to exit, push the button under Exit. Pushing to come back to our menu, and you have an option to select 3 languages for your display: English, Spanish, and French. If you do choose to change the language, you're going to push for the check mark. It's going to ask, are you sure? Just click in the affirmative. Now our display language has been changed. So if we come to an item like setting up our HomeLink, you'll notice now the instructions are in the language that you selected. You can press to exit, come back to the language setup, choose the language of your preference, push the button under the check mark, and then affirmative to say yes to whatever language it is that you have chosen: English, Spanish, or French. Pressing again, and we loop right back around. Nice and simple. It only moves to the right, so if you need to get back over here, just keep clicking until you land where you want. Because there are digital components and you have an entire monitoring screen, it is common for this to feel warm to the touch. Moving up to the controls and lights on the ceiling of the vehicle. You have a small holder for glasses. On vehicles with the moonroof, you can open the shade and the glass, close just the glass, then manually close the shade, or leave the shade open and push the button to use the tilt feature that just pops open the back of the moonroof to bring fresh air into the cabin. With a long press, it will close all the way, or do quick presses for incremental adjustment. If you have an optional panoramic roof, open or close the sunshade. The controls for the moonroof are on the right-hand side. Tilt, open, or close. Open the door for your Safety Connect SOS button. Just push if you need emergency or roadside assistance help. You can turn off or on the door mode for the dome lights. When door mode is active and a door is opened, the front and rear cabin dome lights will turn on. Additional lighting is touch operational. Let's come down to the lower center console. Now don't worry, we will cover all of the Lexus interface features and other connected systems and advanced systems like Advanced Park, the 360 monitor, and anything having to do with this main screen, even climate control and the audio system. We'll cover all of that in part 2 of our deep dive tutorial. You have a small storage area on the left-hand side and multiple charging ports. The optional wireless charger. When the light is green, it's on. When it turns yellow, it's charging. Like other wireless chargers, it doesn't like to overcharge your battery, so it is going to work toward protecting the battery life of your device. So if you see it connect and disconnect from charging, that's normal. Whether you have the optional wireless charger or a storage tray, they can both be pushed forward, tucking your phone away and accessing the deeper storage well below, and a 12-volt accessory charger. The USB-C port is designated for charging only. The USB-A port can charge and be used for tethered Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Your drive mode selector just operates with a twist, turning to the left for Eco, to the right for Sport, to the right again for Sport S Plus, or pushing for Normal, or push again for Custom mode. You'll see an indication on your large screen letting you know which drive mode you've selected. Normal is the only mode that does not have a display title card drop down on the main screen. You'll also see an indication on your gauge when you make a drive mode selection. You'll see the mode title on the bottom left-hand side near your odometer, Eco, Sport S, and Sport S Plus. Pushing for Normal, push again for Custom. The customized settings for the custom drive mode are adjusted in your main settings menu. Sure to note that the different sport modes and the custom mode will not stay on once the vehicle is turned off, but Normal and Eco will. To use the new gear shift on the vehicle, apply the brake and slide to the left and up for reverse, or left and down for drive. If you'd like to use the paddle shifters on the steering wheel, simply push down again to access the manual mode. Left and down again to go back to automatic. And push the P for park. Looking down at the controls below the gear shift, you have the button to turn off the stop and start automatic engine shutoff feature. On the all-gas versions of the NX, the NX 250 and 350. At times when you're in drive and you've come to a complete stop, the automatic engine start-stop feature will turn off the engine for better fuel economy and lower emissions. You'll have an indication on the left-hand side of your dash when the engine is turned off. When you begin to lift your foot from the brake, the engine will turn back on and the icon on the dash will turn off. The hybrid vehicles already have their own version of shutting off the gasoline engine for fuel efficiency, so it has a very similar feel. For vehicles with the engine stop-start feature, if you want to disengage it, here's how. Just press the start-stop off button to disable the engine start-stop functionality. You'll see the icon on the lower left-hand side that the feature has been turned off. Keep in mind, it does reset with every key cycle. That means when you turn off and turn it back on, you will need to press this button again if you want to disable the feature. There's also another automatic engine shutoff feature. If the vehicle is idle for 1 hour, it will automatically turn off the car. You're going to get a notice on the dash. You can toggle down to no to select for that to not happen. However, if the car is idling and you have locked the car with the mechanical key, then the auto engine shutoff is going to be overridden, so it will continue to allow the engine to run. Downhill assist control. When you press the button for downhill assist control, you'll see the icon in green on the left-hand side, letting you know it's activated. Trail mode. When you turn on trail mode, you'll see the trail mode icon on the left-hand side of your dash. Traction control off. If you press the button to turn traction control off, you'll have a large message telling you traction control turned off right in the center of your display. Just push again to turn the system back on. A brake hold feature to hold the foot brake in place. When you press the brake hold button, you'll see the indication that it's on in green. When you see the word hold in gold, that means the brake hold is applied and you can remove your foot from the brake. It will hold the vehicle in place, and then after a short time, when it times out, you'll hear an indication and have a message on screen letting you know that you need to reapply your foot to the brake. The automatic and electronic parking brake, pushing down turns off the electronic parking brake. If you push down and hold, it will deactivate the shift interlock function. That means when you put the vehicle into park, it's not going to automatically apply the parking brake for you. So lift up, you'll feel the parking brake engage and see the word park on the right-hand side. Keep holding, and then you will reactivate the automatic parking brake feature. That means when you select park, the emergency or automatic parking brake will be applied. Coming into park, we get some information about door lock customizations. We'll see more about those settings in part 2 of our deep dive tutorial. Coming to the buttons on the lower center console on the hybrid vehicle, traction control off, trail mode. You'll have an EV mode button. Pressing the EV mode button, if that particular mode is accessible, it will light up EV mode on the left-hand side, and you'll have the EV indicator light on the right. Press again to turn it off. Keep in mind there will be times that EV mode will not be available. It will vary depending on the charge level of the battery, but you'll have a pop-up message letting you know either way. For our front-wheel drive vehicles, you'll see the traction control button on the left-hand side and the stop and start automatic engine shutoff feature on the right-hand side. Brake hold and the emergency parking brake are on all Lexus NX models. Continuing over to the armrest. Under the armrest, you can access additional storage. It's dual hinged, so you can open from either side. To lock or unlock the glove compartment, you'll use the mechanical key that's located inside your key fob. Just look for the word push on the end, push the dot, and slide out the mechanical key. When the key is perpendicular, the glove box is locked. When it's parallel to the ground, it's unlocked. To relock, just insert the key flat and turn to the right. This is a great tip if you're securing items in the glove box and you're going to valet park. Keep the mechanical key with you and then send the key fob with the valet. And then when you're ready, return the mechanical key to the key fob. And a huge thank you to all of my amazing friends in the Lexus Inner Circle and all of the incredible support that we've received from Lexus and the Lexus College. Thank you all so much for helping us to learn about this incredible new system and this incredible updated Lexus NX. Well, thanks so much for stopping by the Lexus Virtual Classroom today. Don't forget, if you have any questions about your Lexus, just leave them in the comments below and I'll be happy to get back to you. Thanks again for stopping by. We'll see you next time.